nations rage. Thanks. Down at Johnson's Creek, the trees grow tall, and the man pleases soul on your word. And I can look in the water, I can see the stars fall, with the fires crackle and the crickets chirp. There were bluffs on the banks of the Cumberland, where I can see the sunrise from a world away. I can see the marvelous things that you have done in the beautiful world that you have made. Well, in the summer it's white, in the winter it's what green, and in the fall it's sunset red and gold. And then it comes alive with the rites of spring, when the rivers thaw, when the flowers unfold, and there are beads of dew on spider's web, and there are boats that just of these beats of light. And we who walk bone and spittle and muscle and sweat, we live together in a world where it's good to be alive, 'cause it flutters and flows and falls and it climbs and spins and splitters and sputters. You filled this world with wonders I'll never return, and it buzzes and beats and shivers and shines and rattles and batters and burrs. You fill this world with wonders, and I'm filled with the wonder of your word. And if there's a better world and a brighter day, even brighter than the very one we're in, we'd all be fools to think that it could be made by the wills and the hands of foolish men. So Lord, to you we sing our deepest praise, and to you we sing our very brightest songs. And while we live in the world that you have made, we hear it whisper of a world that is to come, 'cause it flutters and flows and falls and it climbs and spins and splitters and sputters. You filled this world with wonders I'll never return, and it buzzes and beats and shimmies and shines and rattles and batters and burrs. You fill this world with wonders, and I'm filled with the wonder of your world. The other side of the world is not so far away as I thought that it was, as I once thought it was so far away. The other side of the world is not so far away, and the distance just dissolves into the love, into the love. And the New Jerusalem won't be so easy to build as I hoped it would be, as I hoped it would be easy to build. But Jerusalem won't be so easy to build. There's many bellies to fill and many hearts to free. Set them free. And I see people who learn to walk in faith with mercy in their hearts, glory on their faces, and I can see the people, and I pray it won't be long till your kingdom comes. And I know that the gates of hell are not as prone to prevail as I thought that they were, but I once thought they were prone to prevail. Well, I know that the gates of hell have been destined to fail, to see Satan impaled on the sword of the word, the sword of the word. I see the people who learn to walk in faith with mercy in their the other side of the world. Is anybody here from Chicago? I only said that because I knew you would cheer. Well, I was up in Chicago several years ago when my career was a total flop. And I was supposed to be writing for a new album, and my record company was encouraging me to write something that would be popular, and so I was trying to do that, and I was really sucking at it. So I had a friend that shot himself in the stomach, and I decided, you know, you don't really sit down and decide to write a song. You write all the time, and as a writer, your job is to keep your head in the right place, and which I guess as a Christian, that's a lot your job too. And so sometimes I write songs because I'm not very, sometimes I have trouble talking about my faith to people, especially people that mean a lot to me. And so it's always easier to do something phony like write a song. And that's what this was about. I clung to a ball that was hung in the sky, hurled into orbit, there you are. And whether you fall down or whether you fly, seems you can never get too far. Someone's waiting to put wings upon your flightless heart. You're on the verge of a miracle, just standing there. Whoa. You're on the verge of a miracle, just waiting to be believed in. Open your eyes and see. You're on the verge of a miracle. But there in your room where nobody can see, the voices are loud but seldom hear. But beneath the confusion that's running so deep, there is a promise you must hear. Love that seems so far away, standing very near. You're on the verge of a miracle, just standing there. Whoa. You're on the verge of a miracle, just waiting to be believed in. Open your eyes and see. And when you played out your last chance, and your directions have all been lost, when the roads that you look down are all dead ends, look up. You can see if you just look up. You're on the verge of a miracle, just standing there. Whoa. You're on the verge of a miracle, just waiting to be believed in. Open your eyes and see. You're on the verge of a miracle. Now this song is supposed to be a quartet, but there's only one of me, and there's one of Beaker, but he don't sing. But he remains my best friend in spite of that. You guys know Beaker? It's about as useless as a screen door on a submarine. Babe without work to pay, just a happen now. your left hand? What is your right? It'll take two strong to hold on tight. Some folks have got off their nose just to spite their face, but I think you need some words to show. But you're a legend, faithful. There's a difference, you know, between happy faith and playing make-believe. One will make you grow, the other one just make you see. Talk about it, but really think you better take a leave off of the ship before you think to walk on water. Be without words, they're like a song you can't sing. It's about as useless as a scream door on a submarine. Faith comes from God, from every word that He breathes. He lets you take it to your heart so you can give it in some beats. It's gotta be active if it's gonna be alive. You gotta put it into practice. Otherwise, it's about as useless as a scream door on a submarine. Be without words, baby, just ain't happening now. What is your right hand? What is your left? To show guide your life and your breath. But faith without words are like a song you can't sing. It's about as useless as a scream door on a submarine. Faith without words, like a song you can't sing. It's about as useless as a scream door on a submarine. Okay, this is another song that me and Beaker wrote together. It's a song, you know, when we come here to Cornerstone, we always feel a little bit left out because I don't even have things in my ears. And so we really appreciate you coming to hear us and listening. So this is the angriest song we ever wrote. I can see the iron horse's traps pressing up from the weight of all that steam and steel. Don't blow where you want it to go. Wind just blows where the will you follow. Can see the now. Is the breath of winter? I can feel the breath of winter driving the snow across these new divided plains. Takes my breath from beneath me falling, picks me up again, and it's so strange. Can hear the wild wind howling, can feel it in my bones, and I know that the howling will take me home. Travelers put a friend. There's a little blood in every step he made. a couple new songs that we haven't recorded yet. I live with the university chaplain and his wife and their little boy Jacob, and Beaker lives with his wife and their little boy Aiden. So we have similar lives, it's just that he has a wife and I have a family. But he has a family now. In fact, Julie just had Aiden Saturday evening at 8:30. So he's kind of in Neverland, man. We're rooming together here, and you know, he's up until about 4 o'clock in the morning, kind of going, "Oh wow, doesn't he look perfect?" You know? Yes, Beaker, he looks great. Shut up. You know, I wake up about 8 o'clock and he's already out of bed walking my dog because he's got so much energy. So it's kind of an exciting time for him, especially. And I don't know why I feel the excitement for it, but I'm glad I do, because it would be real easy to be a little bit jealous, I gotta be honest, because not only do I not have kids, I haven't even had a date in years. So anyway, one day he came over to my house where I live with my family, and we sat out on the front porch, and a lot of times when we ride together, we don't really know how it happens. It's either there or it ain't, and that night it was there, and this is a song that we wrote. I hope you like it. I hope I can remember how it goes. Now the plumber's got a drip in his spigot, the mechanic's got a clank in his car, and the preacher's thinking thoughts that are wicked, and the lover's got a lonely heart. My friends ain't the way I wish they were. They are just the way they are. And I will be my brother's keeper, not the one who judges him. I won't regard him for his weakness, won't despise him for his strength. I won't take away his freedom, I will help him learn to stand. And I will be my brother's keeper. This roof has got a few missing shingles, but at least we got ourselves a roof. And they say that she's a fallen angel, and I wonder if she recalls when she last flew. But there's no point in pointing fingers unless you're pointing to the truth. And I will be my brother's keeper, not the one who judges him. I won't despise him for his weakness, I won't regard him for his strength. And I won't take away his freedom, I will help him learn to stand. And I will be my brother's keeper. Not the one who judges him, won't despise him for his weakness, won't regard him for his strength. I won't take away his freedom, I will help him learn to stand. And I will be my brother's keeper. This is a song that I wrote years and years ago, and my record company hated it, and but I liked it, and And the trick, if you ever work for a publishing company, is you go in and you play them a song, and if they hate it, then don't argue with them. Just put it back in your little, attaché case. Take it home and bring it back in a month, and they will forget how much they hated it. And if you keep doing that over and over, it starts to sound familiar to them, and they'll go, "Wow, that's catchy." So this song probably stinks because it took me about 10 years to get them to let me record it. But I think that the Ragamuffins and I are going to make another album, and I'm hoping that we can do this song. We're going to try to record the album some really obscure place so my record company can't find us, and we'll record what we want. I gotta remember how it goes. When the dancers took to the promenade, well, my heart leapt high, and I was unafraid of the feeling I'd stifled for so many years. Tell me, how do you feel? Well, the band took their places and got all in tune, and then a caller's voice, well, it rang out beneath the moon, and then the boys took their girls and they started to reel, singing, how do you feel? And then the people in the town said that they call the police if we didn't keep down all this disturbing their peace. And Officer Black, he answered their pleas, and he ran up on the hill just to see. Well, they hid in the bushes just a stone's throw away, and then we all saw this change coming over his face. Well, he was bouncing to the beat. He started hopping on his heels, singing, how do you feel? And then the townspeople asked him if he had made some arrests, if they find peace and quiet so they can go back to bed. He said, if it's peace that you want, you're gonna find it on the hill. But the silence that you keep, well, it's a silence that kills. Then the townspeople were all so uptight and mad. They threw away his badge. Oh no, they fired him on the spot. And then they threw away his badge. And then they asked him to leave. He said, gladly I will. And they said, tell us now, how do you feel? And he said, when the dancers took to the promenade, well, my heart leapt high, and I was unafraid of the feeling I'd stifled for so many years. Tell me, how do you feel? Okay, this is a song that, thanks for liking those. Wow. You have no idea how good it feels if people like what you're doing. And on the other hand, you have no idea how horrible it is when you get done with a song and you hear this. This is a song that we wrote over in Ireland, and we had a wonderful time over there. And people kept asking us what America was like, and we assumed that they were stupid and didn't know. So we kept trying to tell them. What we found out was that the Irish don't really care what America is like. They just like to have a conversation, and they know that we like to talk about ourselves. So it's a good starter. And then we were asked to play at an anti-Maastricht meeting, and we didn't really know what Maastricht was about, but we knew it had to do with government, so we were against it. And we decided to write a song where we would try to describe America, and I think that this is probably the most utterly failing song at describing anything ever attempted. But we worked on it for at least 2 weeks, and so we're going to play it no matter how bad it is. the land of the milk and honey. And as a road, she is a woman. She was made from a rib cut from the sides of these mountains with these racy big Adams who are lonely even here in paradise. Lonely for somebody to kiss them, and I'll sing my song. And I'll sing my song in the land of my sojourn. And the lady in the harbor, she still holds her torch out to those huddled masses who are yearning for freedom. Still eludes them, and the immigrants' children see their brightest dreams shatter. Here on the New Jersey shoreline, in the greed and the glitter of those high-tech casinos, the sun mendicants wander off to a cathedral. They stoop in the silence, and they're their prayers to whisper, and I sing their song. And I sing their song in the land of my sojourn. Nobody tells you when you get born here how much you'll come to love it and how you'll never belong here. So I call this my country, but I'm lonely for my home. I wish that I could take you there with me. And down the brown brick spine, there's some dirty blind alley. All those drain pipes are dripping out, the last sunset thunder. Off in the distance, the smokestacks were belching back this city's best answer. And the countryside was popped with all of those mailbox posters thrown up on the rotting sidewalks of these run-down stables, like the one that Christ was born in. But the old started dying, and the new world started coming on, and I sing his song. And I'll sing his song in the land of my sojourn. I will sing his song in the land of my sojourn. I will sing his song. All of the way my Savior leads me, what have I to ask beside? Can I doubt His faithful mercies, who to life has been my guide? Heavenly peace, divinest comfort, there by faith in Him to dwell. For I know I'll ever for me, Jesus doeth all things well. All the way my Savior leads me, each winding path I tread, gives me strength for every trial. He feeds me with the living bread. Though my weary steps may falter, and my soul with thirst may be, gushing from a rock before me, though a spring of joy I see. All the way my Savior leads me, oh, the fullness of His love, perfect rest to me is promised. in my Father's house above. When my spirit clothed immortal wings its flight to someday, it's my song through endless ages. Jesus led me all the way. This is going to take a minute because I just put new strings on my dulcimer, and these lights and the weather and everything is going to make it really wangy. So I'm going to check the tuning on it. If you will just like talk among yourselves. What? Did I sound like a man or what? Be with the cross in it.
Okay, this is a make song to that one that they wouldn't let us record, but they're not here and you are, so we'll play it for you. We're gonna do it tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna do a song that I wrote. I had a Bible college professor who wants, because I went to Bible college, not because I wanted to be a preacher, because I knew, boy, those guys are allowed to do anything. And I didn't want to live like that. So I became a musician instead. But anyway, I realized when I graduated from high school that if I didn't get serious about my faith, I probably would lose it. And so I thought at the time that the way to be serious about it was to go to Bible college. I'm not sure that that's really the way to be serious about your faith, but at the time, that's what I thought. So I went and I had this one professor who I especially liked. He was an Old Testament professor, and I love the Old Testament. But, people always tell me, well, I had trouble understanding the Old Testament. I go, yeah, that's what I love about it, is that, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But it's got all these great, colorful characters in it that are almost irresistible. Like the whole thing about Elisha. Here's this prophet of God, and these guys are making fun of him for being bald. So he calls a she-bear out of the woods to maul them. Not normally what you think of as a godly thing to do. I always like the part in the Bible where God gets so mad at Moses. He says, I'm so mad at Moses I could kill him. You can tell. It always makes me feel a little bit better about myself to know that God gets that that upset too. This professor of mine who was able to bring to life all these great stories in the Old Testament, and he was able to teach us that God was not so concerned always with teaching some kind of a moral principle as he was saying, hey, here are the people that I chose to bring glory to myself through. And some of these people were pretty goofy. So one day he came into class and he said, class, I just want you to remember this, that God spoke to Balaam through his ass. And he has been speaking through asses ever since. So if God should choose to speak through you, you need not think too highly of yourself. This is a little lap dulcimer. It was invented by Irish immigrants in this country. I always liked, the myth that this country was founded on the idea of religious freedom. It was, it's interesting to me that in Massachusetts they used to hang Quakers for heresy on the Boston Commons, and that it was the evil King George who chartered Rhode Island to give Baptist sanctuary. Granted, it might have been a big mistake theologically for him, but it was a very humane sort of thing to do. And the Irish, by the time they started coming over in droves, it was illegal to kill them, but because they were Catholic, and the Boston people, they're all that bunch of Puritans, and the Irish, they drank and they brawled and had a lot of children. And Puritans, of course, didn't approve of any of those behaviors. Since they couldn't hang them anymore, they just wouldn't give them jobs. So a lot of the Irish ended up in Appalachia, which is where my family ended up. And my grandpa was a coal miner, and that's kind of a little bit of my historical background. Anyway, the Irish, when they got to Appalachia, they missed the sound of Irish music, and they invented these to sort of imitate the uilleann or bagpipes. And of course, they don't sound anything like a bagpipe. But then again, remember that these are the people who became hillbillies. So. True kind. was a beauty, she was pleasing to a man, and the man that she was pleasing was a king. But the people's eyes were threatened by some wicked men's plans. Nobody knew just how the Lord was going to intervene. Well, he was honest, he was smart, and he knew that Esther's beauty was a gift. He said, maybe you could fix some supper, maybe you could keep the king's heart. Who knows but what you're coming to the world for such a time as this? And the princess pulled the baby out of the water. He was hidden in the rushes, sleeping in a basket made of reeds. And you never know who God is gonna use, a princess or a baby, maybe even you, me. There was Miriam a dancing, there was Jubal with the harp, there was poor old blind Samson, even Pontius Pilate played a part. And the princess pulled the baby out of the water. He was hidden in the rushes, in a basket made of reeds. And you never know who God is gonna use, a princess or a baby, maybe even you, me. And the princess pulled the baby out of the water. He was hidden in the rushes, is in a basket made of reeds. And you never know who God is gonna use, a princess or a baby, maybe even you, me. And we're not going to do it tomorrow, so I'll do it for you. I haven't played this song for a long time, but it's one of my favorites. In fact, it is the songs that I've written. It is my favorite. I always hate to say that because it always sounds really funky. Oh, I love this song. But now, why would you write a song that you didn't love? It's too much work. I wouldn't bother. People say, oh, but you didn't really write it. God gave it to you. I go, don't blame God. God gave us the scriptures, and as far as I know, we've closed out the canon then. A lot of people say, how are your songs inspired? Me and Beaker have all these pagan friends, and we sometimes talk to them about the inspiration of the scriptures, about how we as Christians believe that the scriptures are the very breath of God, that He breathed them out. And I'm not sure how that worked. I don't know how you take that exactly, but I know that Peter said it, that's the way it was, so why not? So I hate to say that our songs are inspired. If we're going to talk to them about scriptures being inspired, it seems, if they think that our songs run apart with scripture, boy, are we in trouble. So we like to say that we believe the scriptures are inspired and that our songs are provoked. So anyway, my great-grandma, I lived right next door to her when I was a little kid. My mom used to send me over there in the afternoons for my nap because my grandma would tell me Bible stories so I went to sleep. A habit I got into, I still enjoy. Anytime I can't close my eyes and rest, I just get out, the book of Leviticus. As long as you skip those chapters that name all the sexual prohibitions, it's really boring. It's amazing to me how hung up they were about mildew. They weren't selling, mildew killers. They were just saying avoid this stuff. Don't you love the way the Bible doesn't always say what you think it's going to? Yeah, because I'm pretty pro-life. I've been pretty active in that for quite a while. But it's always disturbing to me when I get to the part of the Bible where it says, the beautiful psalm, I think it's one of the Psalms of Ascent, and they're going along singing, by the waters of Babylon we lay down and wept, when we remembered thee, Zion. We hung our harps on the willows there, for our captors required of the songs, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. But how can we sing the Lord's song in a foreign land? What a beautiful, peaceful piece of poetry. And you know how that psalm ends? It ends by saying this: how happy, how blessed is the man who dashes their little ones' heads against the rocks. This is not the sort of scripture you hear in a pro-life meeting. And I don't really understand why it's in there, except at one time I had to work in the nursery at church. But I'm very thankful. When I was a kid, I was introduced to the Bible. I was read the Bible a lot. And it's a great habit to get into. It won't save you, but it won't hurt you neither. It's a lot better than television, I gotta tell you. So anyway, she died about the same time John Lennon did, and I was a big fan of John Lennon's. And but it struck me as odd that when she died, she lived to be, you know, almost 100, and she loved people all her life. When I was, you know, in high school, we'd go over to her house, and she was starting to get nuts. And you know, you go visit great grandma, you know, she'd be so happy to see you. She'd always kiss you. And she was Quaker, you know, so she wasn't supposed to wear jewelry, and she finally decided that God told her it was okay. So she used to wear like 50, 60 strands of beads. She put you people to shame. She was so happy that God didn't mind that she wore it. And then she had this money in a cookie jar. She had probably a $5 bill in a cookie jar. And when you get ready to leave, she'd go into the cookie jar and she'd get the $5 bill out, and she'd give you a little hug, and she'd open your hand up and put it in your hand, and you'd say, "Grandma, I don't need this," and she'd say, "Oh, honey, take it. God has been so gracious to me." And then you'd say, "Thank you so much, Grandma. Hey, can I use your bathroom before I go?" And she'd say, "Yeah." So you'd go to the kitchen to get to the bathroom, and you'd put the money back in the jar. And we found out later that she thought it was like the widow of Nain kind of thing. And you know what? It was. So it was kind of heartbreaking for me to think of the effect that John Lennon had on my life, and the effect that she had on my life. That what I learned from John Lennon didn't really amount to a whole lot. And what I learned from my great-grandma was that if you give money out of a cookie jar to people, it will come back to you. And that it's okay to wear beads if you want. That God don't have no objections to bright colors. I learned that there's a book full of wonderful stories and amazing characters. And that it's not only wonderful because it's intriguing, but it's wonderful because it's true. And when she died, she got about 3 lines of an obituary. And so I was watching the TV thing with John Lennon and all the candlelight vigil there. And I was thinking, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be celebrated by stupid people who have no better thing to celebrate than the idiotic ramblings of someone who is so stoned they can't zip their pants up when they go into public. I want to be like somebody who loves somebody, who really makes a difference. And I want to be like my grandma as much as anybody. Some women are all uptight because they can't be priests. Who cares? You can't be a priest. You can love people, and I'll tell you what, if you love people, you're more a priest than if you were someone who gets to wear a robe and light candles. So this is a song that if ever a song was provoked from somewhere deep in me, it was this one. And I don't know why I keep thinking about her now, I just do. So someone asked for this song, so you will get it. Don't you hate it? I just about said, I'm having trouble remembering. It goes something like this, though. I hate it when you go to a concert and someone says, here's a song that goes something like this. I always want to go, look, knothead. I want to hear exactly what that song goes like. Well, I may goof it up, but tonight it goes exactly like this. Jordan is waiting for me to pass through. My heart is aching, I can't tell. You won't break my heart to say goodbye. But these people been friendly, but they never be your friend. We gotta wait a minute. You know, I was gonna do Bound to Come Some Trouble. Would that have been appropriate? Oh, boy, I'll tell you. I was just getting into it, too. It's okay? Start over? Okay, you gotta excuse me on them high notes, boy. I don't know why I'm so hoarse, but I am. Okay. The Jordan is waiting for me to cross through, but my heart is aching and I can't tell. So Lord, I'm begging for one last favor from you. Here's my heart, take it where you will. But this life has shown me how we're mended and how we're torn, how it's okay to be lonely as long as you're free. Sometimes my ground was stony, sometimes covered up with thorns, and only you can make it what it had to be. And now that it's done, if they dress me like a pauper, or if they dye me like a prince, if they lay me with my fathers, or if my ashes scatter all the wind, I don't care. But when I leave, I wanna go out like Elijah, with the ruins to fuel my chariot on fire. When I look back on the stars, it'll be like a candlelight in Central Park. And you won't break my heart to say goodbye. Now that this is all ending, I wanna hear some music once again, 'cause it's the finest thing I have ever found. Well, the Jordan is waiting, though I ain't never seen the other side. Still they say you can't take in the things you have here. So on the road to salvation, I'll stick out my thumb if it gives me a ride. And this music is already falling on my ear. And these people been talking, they say they're worried about my soul. Well, I'm here to tell you I keep rocking till I'm sure it's my time to roll the wind. I do. When I leave, I'm gonna go out like Elijah, with the whirlwind to fuel my chariot on fire. And when I look back on the stars, well, it'll be like a candlelight in Central Park. And it won't break my heart to say goodbye, 'cause when I leave, I wanna go out like Elijah, with the whirlwind to fuel my chariot on fire. When I look back on the stars, well, it'll be like a candlelight in Central Park. And you won't break my heart to say goodbye. remember it. I remember some of it because, let's see, I don't know where this road is going to end. Oh no, that's not the first one. I don't know, it's about all the stuff I don't know. Then it goes, let's see. I don't know where this road is going to end. I only know I'm too tired to travel on. So I reach through the darkness and try to find a friend. And they just tell me you don't always get just what you want. I may go back to Tennessee, I may go to hell. I don't know what's in front of me, but one thing I can tell is that I never was a woman when I was that winter up in Michigan. And I never really wanted to have to say goodbye. And it doesn't really matter what distant star I wish upon, it falls from the sky. And I never was warmer than I was that winter up in Michigan. So I remember that one. Okay, I want to thank you for all your requests. I hope we'll do some of them tomorrow. I hope you'll come back to hear the whole band. I really want to thank Compassion. How many of you guys are Compassion sponsors? Good, thank you very much. Some of you, I used to only sponsor one child, you know, and I sponsor more than one, but it's, you know, you give your $24 a month and you go, wow, this really isn't that big of a deal. And so how much good can $24 a month do? Let me tell you something. Those of you who sponsor children, you have made the love of God visible to people who live in a very desperate world. And I thank you for them. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Last time we were in Colombia, the mother came up to the program where her little boy was being given some education. He was learning how to read, and he was also being given a meal. And she cried as she thanked us, and she said, I have 3 children at home besides this one, and I have not had enough food to feed all 4 of them. And so since this little guy gets his meal here, the other 3 children get their meal at home. There's enough food for them. Before, one child had to go 1 day without food every 3 days. Your money not only reaches the kid that you sponsor, it reaches a lot of people. And the United States has gone into a lot of countries, the CIA has gone into a lot of countries disguised as missionaries. And they have made a lot of people hate the church because of it. And that's why I'm glad there is a judgment. And that's why I believe there must be a hell. But when I see the kind of love that is possible and that is made visible because of people who come together and say, we are not many people, we are one people. And your hurts are my hurts. And your prophets are my prophets. And there is joy enough to go around, and there is bread enough to go around. When I see that, I can believe that there is a heaven. And I can believe that there is hope. And so can the people in Guatemala, and the people in Colombia, the people in Thailand, the people all over the world. Some of you people keep thinking someday God's going to use you. I am always talking to people who say God has called me to a great ministry. I'm like, wow, do a small ministry. That's a great thing. David didn't go out to kill Goliath. David went out to carry hamburgers to his brothers. Not a particularly romantic and remarkable job. It is so easy to love somebody. Through Compassion International, it's so easy to give them the basic needs of life. And I have a lot of trouble loving people, I gotta tell you. I'm a grown I'm egotistical. I'm selfish. I'm a big flop in almost every relationship I can think of. And I'm so thankful that there are a couple kids that I'm able to love unselfishly. And I just invite you to participate in the miracle. This is, we're going to do this tomorrow, but so many people have asked for it tonight. I'll do it tonight. And while I'm doing it, I want to encourage you to remember that $24 is much more than $24. That a couple fish and 5 loaves of bread is more than a couple fish and 5 loaves of bread. And that when we give ourselves to Christ, Christ can do miracles with us. And when you love a kid, money comes back in your cookie jar, maybe not in bills, but in blessings that I can't even describe. Thank you all very much for listening, and please don't forget about compassion. And if you want to sing along, please do. And thank you for not asking for awesome God. There's more that rises in the morning than the sun, more that shines in the night than just the moon. It's more than just this fire here that keeps me warm, and the shelter that is larger than this room. And there's a loyalty that's deeper than mere sentiments, and the music higher than the songs that I can sing. The stuff of earth competes for the allegiance I owe only to the giver of all good things. So if I stand, let me stand on the promise that you will pull me through. And if I can't, let me fall on the grace that first brought me to you. And if I sing, let me sing for the joy that is born in me these songs. And if I weep, let it be as a man who is longing for his home. There's more that dances on these prairies than the wind, and more that pulses in the ocean than the tide. There's a love that is fiercer than the love between friends, more gentle than a mother's, and there's a baby at her side. There's a loyalty that's deeper than mere sentiments, and the music higher than the songs that I can sing. The stuff of earth competes for the allegiance I owe only to the giver of all good things. So if I stand, let me stand on the promise that you will pull me through. And if I can't, let me fall on the grace that first brought me to you. And if I sing, let me sing for the joy that is born in me these songs. And if I weep, let it be as a man who is longing for his home. And if I stand, let me stand on the promise that you will hold me through. The fire first brought me to you. And if I sing, let me sing for the joy that is born in me these songs. And if I weep, let it be as a man who is longing for his home. And if I weep, let it be as a man who is longing for his home. that God loves us. And it's still hard to believe that, but I know it's true, and I hope you can believe it. We gotta do a bit of tuning, and I'm probably way out of tune, but I don't know how to tune a guitar, so. If you know this one, sing along because it's really high and I'm losing my voice. This is not the way to start a tour. I promise. I've gone so far from my home, seen the world and I've known so many secrets which now I did not know. They have crept into my heart, they have left it cold and dark and bleeding, and everybody used to tell me, big boys don't cry. Well, I've been around enough to know that that was the lie. I held back the tears in the eyes of 1,000 prodigal sons. Well, we are children no more, we are still grown old, and our father still is watching down the road. Back to his arms and be growing young, na 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 na, growing young. I've seen silver turn to dross, seen the very best there ever was, and I'll tell you, I remember my father's house, what I wouldn't give right now just to see him. I'd hear him tell me that he loves me somehow, and everybody used to tell me, big boys don't cry. Well, I've been around enough to know that was a lie. Held back the tears in the eyes of 1,000 prodigal sons. Well, we are children no more, we are still grown old, and our father still waits and he's watching down the road to see the crying boys come running back to his arms. When I thought that I was all alone, was your voice siren calling me back home? And I wonder now, Lord, what was it made me wait so long? What kept you waiting for me all that time? Is your love stronger than my foolish pride? Will you take me back now? Take me back and let me be your child. 'Cause I've been broken now, I've been saved, I've learned to cry and